If you know me at all, you know I love a good first-person shooter. FPS all the way, right? With all the hype surrounding the rest of 2020, a lot of people haven't realized the list of FPS games that are coming next year is phenomenal. Welcome to Chaos Gaming, everybody. Today I want to go over 15, that's right, 15 of the best FPS games that I am excited for in 2021. You guys drop a like, let me know what you're most excited for, and get in on this next-gen console giveaway. This month's giveaway is for your choice of a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. All you have to do to enter is drop a like, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment with your Twitter handle so we can get hold of you telling me which one you want. The winner is picked at the end of the month. Good luck. So let's start off with BPM, Bullets Per Minute, the console version. That's right, an extremely unique indie FPS developed by Awe Interactive. It's a first-person shooter roguelike rhythm game where you dive into combat with a lot of enemies in old-school arenas. But you also have to be able to move and shoot to the rhythm of the music, which kind of makes it a blend of Doom and Guitar Hero. That's a really weird combination. It launched earlier this year on PC to very positive reception. It sits at 92% approval rating on Steam. Thanks to the positive feedback and the good sales, Awe Interactive confirmed the console port would be coming in 2021. So, Xbox One and PS4 ports are confirmed, with Series X and PS5 possibly coming a little later. But it's a game to keep your eye on. It's unique, and it may deserve your attention. Next up is EXOMECHA. There's not a whole lot known about this game right now, but we do know Microsoft is really putting stock in it for the Xbox Series X. Announced earlier this year, EXOMECHA is a competitive sci-fi FPS with vehicles like tanks, helicopters, giant mechs, and dragons. Yeah, you heard me right. Dragons next to mechs on the battlefield, alongside your normal cannon fodder, your infantry. We've seen a few minutes of gameplay, and honestly, it looks pretty cool. Kind of like if you mashed Titanfall, Crysis, and Battlefield maybe all together. EXOMECHA doesn't have a set release date yet, but Microsoft has promised it will be released in either quarter 3 or 4 of 2021. Next up is Core DECAY. It's an ambitious, to say the least, FPS RPG developed by Ivar Hill and Slipgate Ironworks, with 3D Realms acting as the publisher. Now, the developers have described it as this philosophical sci-fi adventure, heavily inspired by System Shock, and maybe you could say it's a retro shooter, I don't know. The developers have called it an immersive sim, and it will heavily rely on exploration and interaction with NPCs in the environment. I'm interested. I mean, it's currently set to launch on the PC in 2021, but if it gets enough attention, I wouldn't be shocked at all if 3D Realms pushes a console port as well. Moving down the list, Sin Reloaded. Raise your hand if you remember Sin at all. It was a PC shooter released back in 1998, and it built on the Quake 2 engine that had you attempting to defeat a biotech company in a dystopian future. Now, Sin was a very well-crafted game, and it innovated a lot of FPS mechanics like area-specific damage and the ability to knock guns out of enemies' hands. Unfortunately, it was released just 10 days before the revolutionary Half-Life, so it was largely swept under the rug. However, Night Dive Studios acquired the rights to Sin earlier this year, and they will be releasing a full remaster for the PC next year. There's no official release date, but it does look like Sin might finally get the modern appreciation that it deserved all those years ago. At number 11, Serious Sam 4, the console version. Now, it launched on PC not too long ago, and a lot of people saw it as a disappointment due to all the technical issues, but it has good elements. Like the previous games, it's fast-paced, full of action, and the environments are absolute eye candy. The PC version has been getting updates to keep the stability intact, and publisher Devolver Digital, they've confirmed that Sam will be coming to consoles in 2021. No release date yet, but we do know it's coming to the Xbox One and PS4 next year, and we'll probably see it on the Series X and PS5 as well. Next up is the rise of the TRIAD remastered. Those of you who know your gaming history, you may know of the rise of the TRIAD. It's an old school FPS that was initially released in 1995, and it was by a company that would be later renamed 3D Realms. Heavily inspired by games like Doom and Wolfenstein 3D, Rise of the Triad had you running through various levels, collecting keys to progress, and you would get rid of as many of the enemies as you could along the way with a lot of fast-paced shooting. Earlier this year, they announced they would be reviving Rise of the Triad with a full remaster on PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. At number 9, Shadow Warrior 3. Now, the first two Shadow Warriors have been extremely fun and over-the-top FPS games with a lot of dirty humor and excessive gore. The third game was announced earlier this year, and the developers are excited to get it in our hands. According to them, Shadow Warriors 3's gameplay will be closer to the first game than the second, meaning it will be more focused and refined rather than procedurally generated and stat-based like the sequel. They said the goal of Shadow Warriors 3 gameplay is to make you feel completely overpowered, and there's even a new movement system to add more verticality to the map design. So the first two games are great. I recommend them. Shadow Warrior 3 is set to release in 2021 on the PC, and while there's no word on a console version, that's probably happening too. Next up is Postal Brain Damaged. Speaking of PC shooters, how about one of the most infamous of all time? The Postal franchise is all about pushing people's buttons, going for maximum absurdity. Now, Postal Brain Damaged is the latest entry in the franchise, and it will serve as a spin-off to the main story, although let's be real, nobody cared about the story. Unlike previous Postal games, this one is going to be more about exploration and doing whatever you want to, right? It's going to be more structured, they say, and skill-based experience inspired by older FPS titles like Doom and Quake. Now, I never really cared much about the Postal games, but honestly, looking at the gameplay for Brain Damaged, I may actually give it a go. At number 7, Insurgency SANDSTORM console version. This has been one of the most popular multiplayer shooters on Steam for years, and console players have been begging to get in on it. The game launched in 2018 to critical acclaim for its gameplay, and it looks really good, as it walks the line between this super hyper-realistic game and just pure fun, like if you mashed Arma 3 and Call of Duty into one game. Insurgency SANDSTORM gets thousands of players logging in on Steam every single day, and the console versions are coming. According to publisher Focus Home Interactive, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X versions are almost done, and they will launch in 2021. They also say the PS4 and Xbox One versions are being worked on, but that release date is to be announced. At number 6, GRAVEN. 3D Realms, we've been talking a lot about them. They've been working hard this year in another game that they're putting out in 2021. GRAVEN is a dark fantasy FPS developed by Slipgate Ironworks with 3D Realms as the publisher. And they say it's a spiritual successor to Hexen 2, if any of you even remember that game. It's an open-ended game with large environments where you'll encounter both friendly and hostile NPCs. There's going to be a blend of weapons, spells, all kinds of stuff for you to use. It's even going to support split-screen co-op and 4-player online co-op. It's supposed to launch in 2021 across the board. PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and the Nintendo Switch. Okay, everybody, 5 left. At number 5, Call of Duty 2021. Now, I know people know me from coming from Call of Duty and that insight, but I have to be honest with you guys. I have no idea what COD 2021 is going to be. Following all the drama regarding the Black Ops Cold War development and Sledgehammer Games allegedly being booted from the mainline COD development team, I have no clue what's happening. The main consensus in the community is that COD 2021 is going to be the sequel to Modern Warfare, but that would mean that IW, Infinity Ward, would have thrown it together in less than 2 years, which I don't think is what Activision wants to do. It's also possible Raven Software will be stepping in to make their own COD game for 2021, or maybe Sledgehammer Games is getting pushed back to 2021. I don't know. There's so much confusion surrounding Call of Duty right now, but we do know there will be a game in 2021. What it will be, that remains to be seen. I know Black Ops Cold War isn't even out yet, but I'm interested to hear about the inner workings about next year. At number 4, Deathloop. This game looks awesome. It's an upcoming FPS from Arcane Studios and published by Bethesda. It's going to have you basically playing Groundhog's Day, but with guns. Your character is an assassin stuck in a time loop, and it's up to you to take out various targets within a time limit without dying, or else you have to do it all over again. It's a dance of trial and error that looks super addicting, and the art style looks awesome. It is set to release in Q2 of 2021 on the PS5 and the PC. At number 3, Far Cry 6. Here's another big standout. It's definitely fitting that criteria. Announced not too long ago, it's going to take the sandbox shooter franchise to a fictional island inspired by Cuba. You'll be playing as a guerrilla fighter attempting to fight back against a dictator and his army in what Ubisoft calls the biggest Far Cry playground to date. And those are some bold words, honestly, because Far Cry 4 and 5 were massive. Far Cry 6 has reportedly been in the works since 2016. And the main villain will be played by none other than Giancarlo Esposito, who you guys probably know as Gus from Breaking Bad. Far Cry 6 is set to release on the PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Google Stadia, and Amazon Luna on February 18th of 2021. At number 2, probably the one I'm most intrigued for, Battlefield 6. DICE has been taking a beating the last couple years. They were tied to all the Star Wars Battlefront controversies, and the latest Battlefield game was a pretty massive disappointment. So in response to all this negative attention, EA announced Battlefield will be taking a break for a few years so the team could focus on the new consoles and deliver a truly amazing return to form. That break is reportedly coming to an end because, if we're going off EA's word, we should be getting a new Battlefield game next year. So what is it? I have no idea. The game's existence was confirmed in an investor call last October, but since then, not a word. Is it going to be Battlefield 6? Is it going to be Bad Company 3? I have no clue. I mean, I'd say we'll probably get teasers pretty soon or within the next 6 months, and it's scheduled to launch in late 2021 if EA is being honest about it. I don't know. What do you want? You want Battlefield 6, Bad Company 3, or maybe a follow-up to Battlefield 2142? I don't know. A futuristic one? And at number 1 today, never a doubt, Halo Infinite. Supposed to launch alongside the Xbox Series X, but due to the negative reception of the gameplay reveal, as well as countless behind-the-scenes problems, it's being pushed back. Being pushed back till next year. Now, the level design is more open. It is going to encourage exploration. ADS is gone, armor abilities seem to be toned down, and the pace is seemingly slowed down in order to be more in line with what Combat Evolved in Halo Reach were. The game was supposed to launch next month, but you guys know the story. The visuals are underwhelming, there were countless technical issues with the game's performance, and according to insiders, 343 still isn't satisfied with the story because they brought on a new campaign project lead just 2 months ago. I want this to be good. I'm okay with them pushing it back. I want it to be good. We should be getting it some point in 2021. And there you have it, my friends. Those are 15 FPS games coming next year that need to be on your radar. If you guys enjoyed, take a second to drop a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with those notifications on. And on the screen now are some more videos. Go check them out.